EA Sports is proud to present PGA Tour coverage. Hello again and welcome, Rich Lerner, alongside my friend and colleague Frank Nobilo, here in the state of Washington, getting ready for a wonderful day of golf. Chambers Bay, the site of the action. And Frank, what can you tell us about this course?
Well, if you're not looking at the golf course today, you can certainly look at the scenery, which is fantastic today. The water is just glistening. Those Olympic mountains are just standing out there in the background. But once your mind drifts back to the golf course, you're going to have your game today. Firm and fast, going to play like a true links.
Is the wind a factor?
It is. You get some of those cross breeze holes, then all of a sudden you really better know exactly how you're striking the ball.
So we're ready to get the round going here at Chambers Bay, and we'll begin, Frank, at the first with a par 4.
496 yards, obviously that'll stretch anybody out there. That bunker down the right is very much in play. The fairway does narrow out too, just short of that. So this really is going to require one of your best tee shots. Semi-blind second shot, a relatively big green.
That is tasty looking right there, Frank. Just a perfect spot in the fairway.
That is prime real estate. How do you get a lie like that? Seriously, you could hit any club from there.
Appears to be what they call a commercial play. Very solid. Well, she just played a wonderful shot from back there. And getting ready for the putt. One under early in the round. Ready to tee off here at the second. Frank, what's it all about?
Well, you hit your tee shot here through the dunes, Rich, not overly long, just under 400 yards. The bunker on the left really shouldn't be a problem. Just avoid the dunes on the right and left. There's always advantage of hitting it further than most, Rich, and straighter than most. When you put the two together, it's just straight up a head start.
Terrific golf shot. And now that for an easy birdie. Back-to-back birdies. We'll see. She has something going now to 2 under. At the third tee now, Frank, and what are we staring at here?
This green is anything other than symmetrical, so be very, very cautious on where the flag is. Anything in the middle of the green you can putt to the corners. Well, if you can call them corners, more like ragtails, but beautiful par 3.
And they're close, about 8 feet from the cup. Frank, this would jumpstart the round. A third straight birdie.
Some good playing.
Starting to feel it now. 2 straight birdies and 3 under for the round. Frank, standing here on the 4th tee at Chambers Bay, you can see what this golf course is all about with those dunes on the left and all that sand down on the right. A lot of trouble here.
Yeah, first hole, Rich, really that bends to the right, but if anything, you want to keep the tee shot down the left side. It's going to give you a better angle to the green. And unlike the 2 previous holes, this fairway slopes to the other direction, to the right.
That one is in the fairway, down there about 290 yards. The second shot now to the par 4. Headed for the bunker? In the bunker, still with a chance for an up and down. Well, bunker play is really about technique and feel. The 2 greatest ever are probably Gary Player and Seve Ballesteros. Seve actually was so good, he was so skilled, that he could open up a 3-iron, that's right, a 3-iron, on a short bunker shot from a green side bunker and splash it to a couple of feet as if he had just used a 60-degree sand wedge. Amazing. Love that bunker shot. What's the key to good bunker play, Frank?
Using the bounce, that little sort of aerofoil on the bottom of the club, when you use that, it has a different sound. And you'll find it's much easier to get the ball out of the bunkers than what you first thought.
Excellent looking shot here. Frank, right where you want to be.
Wouldn't be better if it was on a tee.
Now the approach shot here at the 5th hole at Chambers Bay, and how difficult is this?
Well, it looks straightforward, but the second shot, once again, just semi-blind. You've got to be very aware of that little central bunker that's just short of the green, because you're either going to have to go over it or around it.
Well, Frank, obviously way too much club there.
You've got to think something like that, or at least misread the wind. This is never going to sit down.
Getting set now over the putt. Putting a good round together now at 4 under. Getting set to hit the tee shot here at the 6th at Chambers Bay. Frank, where are you looking to land the ball off the tee here?
There's a nice dune down that left side that sort of gives you a good line that you can work the ball off here. But remember, this is a links golf course, so you don't try and fight Mother Nature because she'll always win. So just anything down the left, let that ball sort of kick its way back towards the middle of the fairway. A lengthy par 4, though, at 495.
Just blasted that tee ball, Frank. Now the approach shot here at the 6th at Chambers Bay, and what's the key, Frank?
Well, I think it's a fun second shot, Rich. Too often people just look at the yardage and they blaze away, but really, if you wanted to play this hole as the Scots want to play the game, then when the pin's at the back, you'd hit a low running shot that bisects those 2 bunkers.
Well, this one should be safely on deck here. Well, that's how you play the game right there. Knock it on the green and give yourself a good look at birdie.
It's no snack, though.
Just has the feel today. Frank, this is a daunting challenge. The 7th hole, long par 4. It's over 500 yards.
A huge bunker down the right side that probably runs for a good 200-300 yards. Obviously, that's to be avoided. And then, of course, there's the mounds and the hammocks and the dunes and that on the left side. That's the reason, really, why this hole's called Humpback. But then, a little bit like the golf course, there's only one greenside bunker to be worried about, but enough green left of that.
This one will play a little bit longer. It's up the hill to that green. Pretty good shot. That ball settles in about 13 feet away.
You'd like to think unlucky for some, but birdie putt coming up.
Frank, 2 is nice, but
3 is even better.
Frank, that looked good to me. Good try, just didn't quite read the break, Frank.
It shouldn't be a problem, you'd think, cleaning up here for par.
Did the job right there. Now to the 8th and a long par 5, Frank.
Fortunately, there's no bunkers, just the dunes either side. The hole looks a little narrow off the tee, but get down there, you're going to realise that's a fairly generous fairway. There's a little bit of mounding in this green, too, that actually slopes it back towards the player. So use that to your advantage.
She had a good shot off the tee, and now she has all sorts of options available. Let's see what she does here. Now the second shot to the par 5. Third shot, looking for a good one. On the green, and a chance for birdie. Settles in over the putt. Just an amazing display. The records continue to fall. Well, Frank, it always seems to come down to this, your work on the putting green.
And there's so many things to consider, but first and foremost, speed. If you hit a putt firm, it's going to take less break. You hit it soft, it's going to take more break.
This one looks like it's headed right for the middle of the dance floor, Frank.
Rather nice shot, I would say.
She is putting the full arsenal of her skill set on display this afternoon. Beautiful shot. These putts keep the round together. Wow, I thought it was going in just off the mark by a fraction. So they'll tap in. Keeping pace. Good stuff right there. 6 under par. Frank, what's the player looking at on the 10th here at Chambers Bay?
Well, normally at a par 4, you're just thinking blaze away, but this is one of the few holes, really, I think you've got to be careful on what club you hit off the tee. It starts to narrow up. You really want to avoid those two short bunkers that come in around the 300-yard mark. And that really sets yourself up with a nice sort of wedge. That's really the right way to play it. You don't have to take the trouble on in front here.
Frank just continuing to make the game look easy.
This just shortens the whole golf course up when you can hit it that far.
All right, Frank, what's the best way to approach the 10th?
Well, this is probably the flattest green on the golf course, Rich, and really, if you miss this green, you've made a mistake. There's no two ways about it. It's probably the most predictable second shot you're going to have on the golf course.
You can't ask for much more than that. About 5 feet away. Beautifully done. How about 7 under par now? Stepping up to the tee here at the 11th, Frank.
Yeah, it looks straightforward. You'll see a big dune in the middle of the fairway. You can really take that out of play. Get it down there as far as you can. You're going to need to. And then from there on in, it's really just trying to find out exactly where you want to land that second shot so that you can get it on the right level.
Oh, come on, that's not even human. That's ridiculous. That is 350-plus yards. A good 190-yard shot, and this is the second. What a display of shot making this has been, Frank.
That incredible approach shot there. The easiest of birdies coming up.
Has it. That's birdie. The 12th here at Chambers Bay is known as the Narrows. What's the play here, Frank?
2, really. You could just sort of iron it down there, have a little wedge or a pitch in there with no sweat whatsoever. Or, if you want to have a little bit of fun, if you can drive it over that bunker that's just short left of this green, you might just putt for an eagle.
Oh my goodness, that is on in 1. Wow, what an incredible shot. You don't want to let this one get away. This is about concentration and focus at this point. Well, that's a bit disappointing.
I guarantee you, though, she thought she had that one.
Frank, this would jumpstart the round. The third straight birdie.
Some good playing.
Now at the 13th hole here at Chambers Bay, and Frank, this one bends to the right, par 4.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that you have to cut it or move the ball in that direction. Ideally, really, anything down the left side of the fairway would be well suited for this hole. There is a central bunker that sort of protects the front middle of this green. You can go in left of that or right of that, but this is a beefy par 4. 4 on the card, and you are not losing ground.
Frank, a bunker in front of the green here, so how does that impact what the player's going to do?
Well, it's not just the bunker, too. It's the ridges left and right that are going to repel a shot. So if you go too far left of that bunker in front of the green or too far right, that ball's going to kick all the way off the green. So really, that bunker's a good line, but you've got to carry it.
This is a good-looking shot. Birdie try up next. This is a long putt. Really, the key is the speed. If it drops, that's a bonus. Oh my goodness, that is amazing. Just a sensational putt. Frank, this is the 5th par 4 in a row, and they're not easy. This one here at 14, really a daunting tee shot.
It is. That's why it's called Cape Fair. A true Cape hole in golf, Rich, is when you've got to decide how much you want to bite off when you hit across a slight dogleg. And this one, really, you're going to be rewarded the further left you can go. There is one little bunker in the middle of the fairway that you have to avoid. That's going to be 320 or so yards off the tee. This hole, 546 yards, you're going to see a variety of second shots, or the length of second shots here, determined purely by the bravery of the tee shot.
Frank, it makes the game easy when you play it from the fairway.
Especially when you play it from a lie like that.
All right, Frank, what's the play into the green here?
Well, this green's got a little bit of a funnel effect. General contours slope right to left, and towards this green there is a little bit of a ridge and some mounding, short right, but just use those in your favor. The ball's going to do what Mother Nature wants it to do. You don't have to fight it.
Terrific golf shot, and now that for an easy birdie. This one just requires a little bit of focus. Well, in the words of the late, great baseball commentator for the Yankees, Phil Rizzuto, it's time for Holy Cow, Whitey. That's 11 under par. Headed for the bunker, I think. You don't want to make a habit of it. In the bunker again off the tee. In the greenside bunker, Frank, little bit of a problem. Pretty good shot right there. And it's a long way to the hole from here. Never easy. Struggling a bit with the flat stick, and a drop shot here at the 15th hole. Clean this up with a tap. Not her best effort, walks away with a bogey. Now to the 3-hole finishing stretch here at Chambers Bay, and we get it started with a relatively short par 4. It's a 423-yard hole, the 16th, Frank.
Bend slightly to the right. There's a huge bunker all the way down the right side that sort of starts, I don't know, maybe about 100 yards off the tee, goes all the way to the green. You go right, and then you realize why this hole is called Beached. Rich, that was a heat-seeking missile. That is out there.
They make it look so easy, and we know it isn't, but when you hit tee balls that long and that straight, it does make the game kind of simple. Well, this one should be safely on deck here. Good chance now for a birdie. That was an outstanding play.
Well, it's almost a guarantee there after that shot.
Well, the great hits just keep coming. Moves to -11 on the day. Just 2 holes left to play. Now a par 3, the 17th, 218 yards, and all sorts of trouble, Frank, down that right.
Well, if you weren't beached at the 16th, then there's a chance you can be derailed, which is what this hole's called, at 17. Difficult par 3. You can see the bunker there in front, and once again, wind conditions. This is going to probably require one of the best tee shots, especially in the closing stages of a US Open. Well, this is straight at it.
It's a really good line. Oh, just a superb shot.
You're not going to see much better than that all day today.
Just needs to keep it steady here over the putt. Just an unbelievable round thus far, and 12 under on the day. Now to the 18th hole. Frank, everyone wants to finish in style.
Yeah, the home hole here, once again you head back to just a wonderful view, and you realize that Chambers Bay was designed as a walk-in golf course, and it was designed to have fun and test every department of your game. 18 will do that. It probably gives you more trouble on both sides of the hole than any other hole on the golf course.
That was just a beautiful drive, and hit it solid and right in the middle. Second from an excellent lie. Frank, straight uphill with this approach shot, what do you have to factor in terms of club selection and setup over the ball?
Well, you're going to have to take at least an extra club to make up for that added elevation, and also it's tougher to get onto that front foot.
Great way to finish off the final approach shot with a birdie opportunity. Frank, 2 is nice, but
3 is even better.
just an amazing display. The records continue to fall. Frank, just some great golf here today.
Well, that's a round to remember. Not often you play that well and you feel like you were head and shoulders above the rest of the field.
What a thrill to watch. And for Frank Nobilo and our entire team, I'm Rich Lerner saying so long for now.